With how popular this show is, it was only a matter of time, wasn't it?
Bluey!
Was a TV show just not enough? You just gotta immerse yourself into the Bluey universe in order to be truly satisfied? Well, you do have some options. You can book a ticket to Bluey's Big Play, or you can find all kinds of experiences. Like starting in November up until February, up in Los Angeles, there's a Bluey X Camp experience, where you can explore the Healer family home. But then just recently, a video game was released, and many Bluey fans are excited, including me. So, how does the video game stack up with the show? Well, for this video, I'll be reviewing the version on the Nintendo Switch. Now let's play! It's a sandbox game where you can explore the Bluey world at 5 different locations: Healer House interior and exterior, the playground, the creek, and the beach. They all resemble the different locations you'd see in the show, but there's actually a story to this game connected by 4 episodes that you can play through. While the Healer family is busy playing a game of Keepy Uppy, they find a piece of a map that Bandit and his brothers drew when they were kids that leads to a treasure they buried. Bluey and Bingo are fascinated by the idea of finding buried treasure, so the family decide to collect the other 2 pieces from Uncle Stripe and Uncle Rad so they can complete the map and uncover the treasure.
Looks like we're going on a treasure hunt, Squirts!
Hooray!
There's not a lot to the game. You get to play as either Bluey, Bingo, Bandit, or Chili. You can even have up to 4 playing at the same time, but that's only for local multiplayer, which makes sense. You wouldn't expect a game like this to have online support. Anyway, you and your family run around the areas collecting all sorts of collectibles, which includes different toys, and you can also fill up water cans to water some of the plants. The whole idea of collecting all this stuff and watering the plants is to earn stickers for the sticker book. Plus, you can dress the characters up as you collect hats, and even these butterfly wings. There's also 4 different games you can play, and you unlock them as you go through the story mode. First is Keepy Uppy, where the goal is to keep the balloon from touching the ground as long as you can.
There's leaves everywhere!
Next is Ground is Lava, where you need to collect the target items without touching the ground.
Okay, but we have to do it without touching the lava.
Then there's Chattermax Chase, where you gotta run around the area and hold on to Chattermax. Be careful not to let anyone else take them.
Chattermax, this is a tea party, not a dancing party. Keep it down.
Lastly, there's Magic Xylophone. The idea is to freeze everyone else. It's probably the simplest game in the collection.
Freeze!
The game is very simple, but it makes sense considering its target demographic. But the overall design is what makes the game appealing. Most games made for kids of this young of an age wouldn't be this sophisticated, but this is Bluey we're talking about, a show known for sophistication. Before I talk about the visual appeal, I might want to talk about how great this story is. There's all sorts of stuff planned for the holidays.
Don't forget, we've already got lots of fun stuff planned. We're going to play with Muffin at the park, see Granddad, and there's a trip to the beach.
First, they go to the playground to play with Muffin. Next, Uncle Rad comes over, bringing a brand new Chattermax model for Bluey and Bingo. Oh man, if you thought the original Chattermax was irritating, you ain't seen nothing.
Make it stop!
It demands to be fed, it never shuts up, and it moves around too dang much. From both experiences, Stripe and Rad each give you their piece of the map. With the 3 brothers' pieces coming together, we can finally go and get that treasure, and Granddad's coming with you. Yeah, Chili's father plays a role in the story. In order to reach the treasure, you'll have to traverse through the creek. That beautiful place where you gotta jump on the stones and be careful not to fall in the water. There's even that jump between 2 rocks you gotta make with bravery.
The creek is beautiful.
You even come across this part where there's a bunch of trash, and you first do the creek a service, pick it up.
I don't think anyone's cared for this area in a while.
It's so sad. The creek used to be a beautiful place.
After that, you finally arrive and dig up the treasure, and it's an action figure from the 80s that closely resembles He-Man.
It's Power Blue! This is our favorite toy ever.
Apparently, Bandit and his brothers used to fight over this toy, and they eventually buried it because their dad was going to take it from them. Then they made the map so they'd dig them up later, but they'd forgotten about it over the years up until the present. Wow, we get to learn more about Bandit when he was a kid growing up in the 80s. At first, Bluey is distraught about how the treasure they found wasn't what she was expecting. Then Bandit gives this great talk about how treasure is not really gold or anything shiny, but it's really connected more to precious memories. The family in the current generation even made their own precious memories while searching for the treasure. Memories that'll last forever.
I'm glad you finally got your favorite toy back, Dad.
Thanks, Bluey.
Then for this last day of the holidays, the family heads off to the beach so they could complete one last photo. And that photo can be completed by finding the collectibles. Each area has 3 of each specific item that includes newspapers, slices of pavlova, leaf bugs, and hockey sticks. It's funny how each of these items each relate to a different member of the Healer family. Newspapers for Bandit, pavlova for Bluey, leaf bug for Bingo, and hockey sticks for Chili. But any member at all can collect them. Now, as promised, I'll talk about the visual appeal. The locations all resemble what can be seen in the show, and includes a bunch of Easter eggs. Like in the creek, there's a spot where you can find a tent that looks just like the one Bluey and Jean-Luc built in camping. Even the collectibles are items that resemble what you see in the show, like Polly Puppy and Unicorse. Plus, the dress up can allow you to dress the characters up with the many different costumes they wore in episodes of the show. You can give Bluey a gnome hat in case you want to freeze her with the magic xylophone.
Now, look at this lovely new garden gnome.
Or you could turn Chili into a police officer in case anyone steals chippies.
Did someone call the police?
Yes, she went that way.
Stop! Police!
This game manages to make itself an experience for both kids and adults, and a good experience too. It's no masterpiece, but it's worthy of the show. So far, I've only really experienced it for myself, but I imagine it would be a lot more fun to play with other people. After all, this is meant to be a family game. I wonder how fun it will be to play with my niece. I can easily see this being a great Christmas gift this year. If you have kids who are fans of Bluey and you want to buy a video game for them, this would definitely be my pick. This can also be fun for adult Bluey fans who don't have kids of their own. There's not much to it, but that's just Bluey for you. What you do see is enough to brighten your day.